your request to the Brooklyn Posse.
Hello and welcome to the Fitz and Healthy podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lauren Fitz, and I'm joined by my beautiful co-host, Cinthanie McAllister from Cinthanie.com. What's up, girl?
Hey, girl. Hey. How you doing?
How you doing? So we are recording this on a very important holiday weekend, and this episode is going to be going out the 1st of December, which is the holiday season. And this particular episode is going to be really important. It's going to basically address holiday nutrition. It's going to be a quick episode, but it's going to be full of great nuggets that everyone can take along with them during the holidays and to help them get through the holiday season. But before we get to holiday nutrition, we want to give a shout out to all of the people that have left reviews for us on iTunes, because you guys are making it possible for this particular podcast to be searchable and to be shared to people that don't know who Cinthanie and I are. And we appreciate you greatly. And so we have a review of the week that Cinthanie is going to read for us.
All right, so this one says life-changing for the mind and body and soul. This is from Rose from Brooklyn. It's a 5-star review, and she said, "Wow, I discovered Lauren from her YouTube dance fitness videos and recently just discovered about her and Cinthany's podcast. I've been down in life recently and figured, let's give it a listen, and so thankful that I did. These ladies provide so much life-changing information, and not only do you want to change your diet lifestyle, you also want to change as an individual. Since listening to you ladies, I have removed more than food toxins in my life. I have removed life toxins and now surround myself with nutritional food and supportive, positive community that makes me better as a person all around too. I can write so much more because there's so much to say. I could make a podcast about your podcast and still wouldn't be enough to describe how awesome this podcast is. Thank you, ladies, for keep on keeping on. Love, Rose."
Oh my gosh, I literally have chills everywhere. And you know what's cool is that I know exactly who you're talking about. I know
really?
And
That's
and
awesome.
And so shout out to my friend Rose, who literally I just met online recently.
Awesome.
But and the last iTunes review of the week that you read also is a friend that I met on social media. And you know, that's just the cool thing. You know, a lot of people that follow us online, I'll never meet in person, but social media really does lead to real relationships and friendships. And it's pretty cool. So last weekend, I went to a business meeting that was a 5-day business meeting, and I was invited by someone that I met online. You know, someone was sharing my information, and the information that she got from me has changed her life, and she's off of pretty much all of her autoimmune disorder medicines. And so it's, you know, the whole point of this podcast is to help empower people. And when people leave the reviews of how our words, our time, and our effort have influenced them, it gives me chills every single time.
Yeah, it's
but
cool.
So cool shout out to Rose.
That our message is being received.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So holiday nutrition.
If that's even a thing.
I know. This is definitely, for most people, the hardest time of year. I don't know at what point in human history the holidays became all about opulence and gluttony and just everything is food. But that's been a part of my life for 37 years, right?
Yeah. Like whenever I think of the holidays, like I think of like the traditional food, like the foods that we eat always.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, since I moved here, so I'm almost celebrating my 12-month anniversary of being in Cali, because I moved here December 8th, 2016. And so I've spent some holidays by myself. And, you know, the first holiday, in fact, it was Christmas, because my parents helped me move out here last year, and, you know, I got to spend time with them. But I just moved. It made no sense to just fly back to Texas to be with my family during Christmas. So I was here by myself for Christmas, and I'm not going to lie, it was not the easiest time. Yeah. But it made me realize what you miss out on has nothing to do with food, and it has everything to do with family.
Yeah, totally.
And not necessarily family, but loved ones. And sometimes loved ones are not blood related, but
right. But just the people that like are important to you.
Absolutely.
Your inner circle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this year are going to challenge you on this episode. And we want to know, what category do you fall into? Because you are going to be one of three different options. The first option is what I would, and I'm totally making this number up, but if I had to guess, probably 98% of, for sure, Americans. I can't speak for people, outside of the United States, but I know what the standard American does during the holiday season, and it starts.
I know what this standard American usually does during the holiday season. So
excellent. And that's a great point to make, is that, man, we are not perfect by any means. And
tradition is also tradition for, no matter who you are, your family has to have some kind of like food traditions or stuff for the holidays. So
right. So you can be person A. Person A is we'll just go ahead and say you're 98% of the population. No, we'll do 95. Let's just go with 95. Okay. 95% of the population is basically going to look at this time between Thanksgiving Day and not necessarily, a lot of people started before Thanksgiving. Let's just be honest.
Say, like Halloween to New Year's, probably, I'm saying.
Yeah. But it seems like it gets way worse once Thanksgiving hits, because people, their work, they're having holiday parties, their friends are having holiday parties.
Mm-hmm.
People are bringing stuff to work because that's the time of year, it's colder. So people are inside and baking, and absolutely. Totally. Then there's that element of guilt, like, oh, well, Susie Cakes brought, her homemade Susie Cakes to the thing, and I have to try them, right? Because if I don't, her feelings are going to be hurt, right? Yeah. There's actually a place called Susie Cakes here that apparently has amazing. Wow,
you just made that up. So
I haven't tried Susie Cakes, but apparently they have like the best cakes ever here in Orange County. So free plug for you guys, Susie Cakes, apparently. But there's going to be a lot of people that literally go ham during this holiday season, and you've already decided that, you know what, I don't care. I know that I'm going to gain weight and go out of control, and I'm going to be gluttonous. And you know what? January 1st. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I need everyone that's listening or watching this to raise their hand if they're guilty about it. Yeah, so both Cynthia and I are and even Robert is raising his hand. Yeah,
2 hands, to be honest.
And I won't ask how many holiday seasons that we're guilty of, because it's definitely more than not.
22.
Yeah, right. Right. But the fact is that is just, unfortunately, it's part of our culture. The idea that, well, you know what, I'm just going to start all over again come January 1st.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And that's why I'm guessing that 95% of the people that are listening are going to go ham. So person A is the ham. We're just going to call them the ham.
The Christmas ham.
Because they are eating the Christmas ham and everything else.
Whatever holiday you celebrate. But,
right. Yeah, no, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and some people that don't celebrate any holidays still end up eating more during this time.
Yeah.
Because it is this time of year, and all of the surround. I mean, if you're a Starbucks fan, you go to Starbucks and you've got all of these great seasonal flavors that just literally, they know how to get into your brain and be like, well, I won't be able to try that come February, so I better try it now, right? Yeah. I mean, these companies know what they're doing, right? Yeah. But the fact is that I want to challenge all of the listeners that know in their heart that they're probably going to be option A and Mr. Ham, Miss Ham, to consider possibly being option B or option C. Okay. So option B, other side of the spectrum. And I'm going to say that it's probably going to be less than probably 0.5% of people.
I think I have to disagree with that. I think that there are more people than we realize that are like to the other side of the scale, that are super extreme and that are like, nope, can't have any of it.
Okay.
I think you'd be surprised.
You're
giving people the benefit of the doubt.
So the other,
part of this 0.5%, but I'm just saying I'm giving people.
No, but you are.
I'm about to be. Yeah.
You're about to be.
That's why I said 22 years and not 23 years.
I like it. I like it.
This 23rd one's going to be different.
So the people that are listening that have no idea what we're talking about, we are, oh my gosh, the day that we're recording this is the day before we start our 12-week beta test group. And if this is a listener that has no clue what we're listening to or we're talking about, let me just briefly explain what this beta test group is. Now, okay, first things first, the word beta. Let's just put this out there. Anytime you have someone doing kind of a test to see how people do with whatever, that's the term it's used. No one has coined the phrase beta. This is a beta test group has been used in research for years and years. So that's the only reason why we chose that word to put onto this, because we are doing something that hasn't been done really ever in our world of coaching. And so we are trying to prove that this is not a fad. This is not a trend that is coming and going, but this is actually a lifestyle that's going to change a lot of people's lives. Which what I mean by that is a high fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate approach to nutrition that is whole foods based, not fake food based, not Frankenfood based, using intermittent fasting, and a daily dose of dense nutrition with supplementation. We are doing this, and we initially had plans to have it be a very exclusive group because we wanted to have essentially more control.
Yes, a controlled test group.
Yes. But when we started talking about this test group and what it entailed, we had so many people that responded to us.
Like an overwhelming response.
Overwhelming, okay?
Which is awesome.
It is.
Super great. Super great.
It is, because what the person that we speak to is the person that has been on the diet roller coaster, that's tried everything from the juice cleanse to the latest wrap to the latest, prescription medicine that their doctor gave them, to whatever, and temporarily lost weight, but then gained it back. And then oftentimes they gain more weight back. And then they messed up not just their metabolism, but their hormones. And, the platforms that I have, the podcast being one of them, the Facebook Lives, the YouTube channels, all of these platforms, I try and get the message out to make people realize that it is not a math equation, it's biology, meaning it is not just eat less, exercise more, and you'll lose weight, because that will lead to long-term issues messing up your biology. It's hormones. And the sooner that people can realize that the reason why they are struggling losing that extra weight and their midsection keeps growing despite how little calories they eat every day, once they unlearn that mindset of, oh, maybe it's my insulin and my cortisol and my thyroid and my growth hormone and my TSH and all of these hormones that are involved in you being your best, healthiest version. So this is why there are 672 people in this group.
Yeah, which is great.
Crazy.
But so it's 12 weeks. So we will be doing this test group through the holidays. So we are going to be the 0.5% of people that's not touching a crumb of any kind of holiday food. But you know what? Coming out of this though, my goal is to create new traditions out of this test group, because my husband is doing it with me. He volunteered, and my mother-in-law, I know, my mother-in-law is doing it. And so people in my family are going to be eating the same way for these 12 weeks. And so I'm wondering if maybe healthier traditions can emerge from it for us, that we can, a tradition is only a tradition because somebody does it once and then you repeat it, right?
Absolutely. So,
I'm trying
so brilliant.
I'm trying to forge a path this year of healthier. Tradition, like I said, tradition is only tradition if you make it. So trying to come up with new holiday traditions for us as a family that we can have and implement.
Girl, for being a young millennial, that was just brilliant.
Being a young millennial, as if we can't come up with good stuff. I'm offended.
No, that's not what I meant. But that's something that usually people that have been on this earth for a little bit longer, it don't even realize. That's brilliant. It's so true.
I I was thinking about it because usually for my family, like Thanksgivings are huge. Like I'm an Italian, like we have a huge family and stuff. But this year it was like just me and 5 other people, and it was really low key, and like it was not a big, huge Italian Thanksgiving like it usually is, but it's kind of like your traditions evolve over time, and so you have control over that, so
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are essentially our nutrition is going to be higher fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate. You are going to be, and you and I both practice intermittent fasting already.
I do, yeah, and I practice this lifestyle as well because the nutrition really stems from my mother-in-law, who's kind of like the brain of that, but she taught me this 3 years ago, and it's the way that I've eaten for 3 years. So I don't think it's going to be super difficult for me, but I'm excited because it's really going to be taking everything that I already do, but like dialing it in really, really good. So
yes,
so I'm up for
exactly,
it.
exactly. And this is how in my mind I eat, but in reality, I think I'm going to have the reality check of, you know what, you haven't actually been sticking to as close to high fat, moderate protein, low carb as you thought.
Yeah.
And this is essentially going to show what kind of changes that I can make in my, not just body, but my labs. So that's one thing, is that we are requiring everyone to get labs. And I love this because you guys know I'm a medical doctor, but I'm not your medical doctor. And I'm not the medical doctor of these 672 people in this group. And I constantly remind them that. But the whole point of this is to get people involved with their healthcare providers and hoping that they realize that they need more than just a Western medicine MD, because most Western medicine MDs aren't taught anything about nutrition. So if you can find a functional medicine doctor, go to functionalmedicine.org. That's actually where I found mine, who happens to be not only a functional medicine doctor, but he's also a chiropractor. So he has both of those specialties that he's trained with so that he can treat me completely. Realistically, I will find an MD that's integrative medicine or functional medicine and have the healthcare team take care of me. And so it's kind of cool because a lot of people, there's some minimal labs that people are required to get. And the main point of this is for people to understand that they have hormonal imbalances that they don't even know they had. Yeah. And that is why they've hit a plateau, or not just a plateau, but they keep gaining weight and they can't lose it.
Mm-hmm.
Insulin.
And to get you healthy from the inside out.
Yes.
The point of this group is definitely to allow people to realize that it's so much more than just weight loss or muscle mass.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The weight loss is going to be a great side effect of it.
Yeah, totally.
But what people don't understand is if they are insulin resistant, that's basically, they're somewhere on a spectrum of your cells react perfect to insulin the way we were designed to, but then over years of constantly being exposed to frankenfoods, processed foods, constantly eating foods that we weren't supposed to be eating, eating more certain macronutrients than others. And it gets you along the spectrum of essentially the end stage is diabetes. And what diabetes looks like, I constantly say, I wish that people could go into a hospital where there is an internal medicine ward just full of diabetic patients so they can see what that looks like, how that manifests, because it's not just you are constantly having to prick your finger and check your blood glucose. That's just the beginning stages.
Yeah.
Because the body was not meant to constantly be exposed to high levels of blood glucose. And that's what insulin does. So insulin is the hormone that is out of whack for, I would guess, a majority of people in this group. You don't have to be overweight for you to have insulin resistance. And in fact, I haven't gotten my labs back yet, but I'm guessing the last time I had my labs tested by a naturopathic doctor, I already was showing signs of insulin resistance. And this was before I knew anything about nutrition. This was right when I started learning about nutrition. So I wouldn't be surprised if I still have some insulin resistance, because it doesn't go away overnight by any means, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And especially if you've got insulin resistance, dialing in your nutrition, this particular approach to nutrition is specifically helpful for people with insulin resistance.
Yeah.
So we're instead of going ham, we're going without ham.
Yeah.
We're
going without.
Although if you're going to eat ham, it's going to be uncured and free of antibiotics and nitrates and all of that kind of good stuff. but that's one thing that I want to make sure that people understand is that any approach to nutrition, if it's not surrounded by whole foods, it's not what the body was designed for. And so I did a live broadcast on, I believe, the Club Fitz Fitness like page, are supplements making you fat? And a lot of people don't realize that they constantly look at the nutrition label instead of the ingredients. And they don't realize that no matter how great that nutrition label looks and fat grams and grams of carbs and blah, 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 if the ingredients are full of stuff like sucralose. Did y'all hear that? Sucralose, which sucralose, it's Splenda. And that right there leads to insulin resistance. And I'm pretty sure I was a Splendaholic for all my 20s and the beginning parts of 30s. And I'm pretty sure that that's what led to, I'm pretty sure gut health affected my insulin resistance and got me to where I am. So there's option A, the person that's going to go ham and just, they don't care. Cinthanie and I are here to plead with you to consider this year being option A or option B or option C. Obviously it's too late for anyone listening to be in our beta test group because we've closed that to new people coming into it. But so option C is the one that I'm hoping that most people consider. Explain to them what option C is.
Option C, the best way to put it, I think, is like an 80-20 rule.
Yes.
80% of your holidays spend as if it's not a holiday and that you're eating healthy foods and stuff like that. But the other 20%, yes, enjoy your traditions. And if your mom makes mean pumpkin pie, cool. But that doesn't mean you have to eat like pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving and the day after and the day after that. Have your cake and eat it too, but just not every day.
That's so funny that you say that, have your cake and eat it too. So I was thinking, when I was in 5th grade, I remember this specifically. In 5th grade, we had a science project that we were supposed to do. And I remember because it was my mom's idea, because my mom got her nutrition degree from Texas Tech, right? Shout out to Mama Fitz. So I don't know. I need to ask her because she's got a memory of steel, but the project was have your cake and eat it too. And so what we did was, this was basically testing the whole low fat, non-fat, all of that, all of the different kinds of fat and using the different kinds of fat to bake. And I remember I invited like 7 of my friends over and we all cooked in my mom's kitchen, all of the different options for cake. And then we tested it all. It was so funny because there were so many cakes that were like, oh, this is gross. This is disgusting. But the title of it was have your cake and eat it too. So it's kind of funny that here I am, 20 plus years later, doing the same damn thing. It's kind of cool,
Yeah, totally. There was a little foreshadowing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But the 80-20 rule, it really is the most realistic for a lot of people. And there were a lot of people that decided to not commit to the 12-week beta test group because we didn't let anyone in that wasn't ready to 110% commit.
Yeah.
Because the results are so freaking important that we are going to collect from these 12 weeks. We're collecting data, everything from inches and weight and pictures to voluntary blood work. Yeah, exactly. So, and of course, I am a doctor, but I'm not their medical doctor. But I will be looking at all of the labs and answering generic questions because, obviously one of the first questions is they get their lipid panel back and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this. What does this mean? And, knowledge is potential power. If
really what you're doing is just teaching people how to interpret their blood work, honestly.
Exactly. And just like this is for educational purposes only, it's not meant to treat anyone. This podcast is essentially meant to inspire you to take control of your health and get help with your own healthcare providers. And that, in my opinion, should consist of a team full of different people that all have your best health in mind. Yeah. And if man, I'm going to get on the soapbox real fast. If you have an old school physician who doesn't believe that you can cure yourself or get at least make your current medical conditions better by changing your nutrition, that the only answer is prescription medicines or surgeries, I would say you have the right to fire your doctor and find another one, and I don't care how long you've been with that person. I understand there's that element of, well, I feel, this is my family doctor, and he's like 79 years old and hey, guess what? That might be like red flag that you need to find someone a little bit more up to date with, not to say that you can't be 79 up to date, but,
just find somebody that is willing to work with you on your health.
Absolutely. So speak to the person that is going to be option C, the 80-20 person. What they're like, okay, I hear you. I don't want to go ham this year because I know how crappy it makes me feel and shame and guilt and hate, self-hate comes around with, that's all of the real outcomes of going ham, right?
Yeah.
The things that people don't want to talk about, because that's temporary, when you go to the Christmas party and you eat all of yummy food. And then when you eat the latest baked, good that, Susie Q brings, or Susie Cakes, Susie Q brings Susie Cakes, like that temporary, oh my gosh, this is so good. But then the aftermath, there's shame, there's guilt, there's self-hatred, and people don't talk about that because that's uncomfortable.
Something that I think that it's important to understand is like, because a lot of times like you feel guilt after you eat stuff like that. I mean, one, you need to develop a different relationship with food because you should never feel guilty for fueling your body, but that, and also like going into the new year feeling bad about yourself. And like, that's why you're going to work on your health, is because you want to undo everything you just did. Like, that's not a great way to start a new year. Like, new year, new me, but like you're walking into it feeling so guilty for things that you did, or to undo everything you had just done in the past couple months. So I would be mindful of that. How do you want to feel when you start 2018 or 2019? This will apply to every new year, but how do you want to feel going into it? Don't wait to make your changes until that new year. And be mindful of the fact that you can enjoy the holidays plus or minus the food, because honestly, it's truly who you are surrounded by. And it's taken me a while to learn that, but it's who you're surrounded by, and just like the spirit of being with people and enjoying people and just being kinder, and like, those are the kinds of things that make it the holidays, really. And I think that the food is just such a big tradition because it's a spirit of giving, and a lot of people's love language is to give through food.
Yes.
So identify that and be aware of that, and be, grateful for the people that are expressing their love to you through food. But maybe you can express your love to other people in a different way so they can see what your love language is.
That is such wise words. And, this is another thing where, yes, a lot of people's my mom's love language is cooking, and I mean, every year she bakes so many different, kinds of breads and gives them out. But, if you are thinking, okay, this year I want to be different. I don't want to be person A and go ham. I want to be person C. I'm not ready to go balls to the wall and, be 100%, awesome. Not awesome, but you know what I mean? Because everyone's awesome. But if you're like, this year I want to be person C, and I think I want to do this 80-20. I would suggest, make a few suggestions. One, let people know, because your loved ones, for the most part, want you to be happy. And you're always going to have loved ones that the moment that they hear that you're trying to do well, they'll subconsciously try and throw you off. And you can't change that.
Our loved ones project their own fears upon you,
So true. So
just
true.
Remember that. Don't take it personal. It's just that.
So true.
If you're trying to do something that they don't think they could do, they're probably going to shoot you down about it.
Yeah. Because they subconsciously believe that they can't do it. And in fact, every single person listening to this can. But if you in your mindset say you can't, then you can't. It's truly, it's a matter of you are what you tell yourself you are. So letting your loved ones know, especially the ones that usually give you stuff, like, if my mom was your friend and my mom always gave you a loaf of zucchini bread every year, hey, Colleen, I love your zucchini bread, but this year I'm really trying to cut out the grains and gluten, and I don't want you to think that I don't appreciate you, but would you help me reach some success and just keep that in mind. And there are going to be some people that might be offended, and then other people are going to be like respectful of the fact that you took the time to acknowledge that I love what you do. I appreciate you. And that's, it's truly, it's
recognize their love language. Recognize that they're putting forth an effort to express how they feel about you through baking stuff for you or whatever.
Exactly.
Recognizing their efforts and recognizing that they think of you.
Exactly. And then, if you're at work, like I'm thinking of the hospital setting, because man, the hospital setting is terrible, especially the OR, all of the OR nurses and PACU nurses and techs, and everyone's bringing food, and we've got reps that are bringing food. It's a really challenging time in the OR. And I know other places are the same way. So just letting your coworkers know that, what, can you guys help me? Because this year I'm not going to refrain from all holiday food, but I'm really trying to keep it, to about 20% of the time where, it's only a holiday party. It's only Christmas Day. It's only whatever. So that way you don't feel like you're missing out, but you also have other people that are helping you. Another option is to literally do your own little accountability group, and it can be on Facebook. It can be a group text message. That the accountability that's where the magic is, in my opinion. You just need one person that's like-minded, that is like, okay, this year I really don't, I'm fully aware that I'm going to, eat this on Christmas Day and whatever, but I really don't I hate the way I feel when I go ham all month during December. And I go into the new year feeling crappy. And it's getting that person on board and having that accountability is huge. And then other resources that, I feel like we're at a place in human history that no other human has ever experienced. The amount of information is unlike any other, yet we still have people that struggle daily with overeating, with eating crap food, with all of this kind of terrible stuff. But utilizing resources that you find online and then applying them to your life. And so before we were recording this, we were talking about different Instagram accounts or Facebook accounts that we follow for food ideas, because because obviously this is coming out the first Monday of December. So you have time, you have about 3 weeks of holiday food, really actually 4 weeks, because holiday food continues after Christmas. Let's just be honest.
The New Year's.
Yeah, exactly. So you have time to prepare. And, one misconception that I want everyone to unlearn is that eating healthy just tastes bad. And in fact, oh my gosh, it's totally opposite. And
your palate changes. Honestly, your palate changes when you allow yourself to establish new habits and stuff like that. Like, of course, like if you're eating cupcakes every day and then you instead start eating broccoli every day, like of course it's going to taste like garbage. But be graceful with yourself. Allow yourself some grace.
Yes.
Establish different habits.
Absolutely. So I follow a few, and I only wrote down 5 different IG accounts, but I actually follow probably 10 to 15 different IG accounts that are their food ideas and suggestions are in alignment with what I believe. And so I'm going to give these guys shout outs. I don't have any association with any of them. But a few of them people have heard me talk about already. So Julie Bauer on Paleo OMG. It's actually Paleo OMG. PALEOMG. She's one of my favorites. And her blog site is full of free recipes. PaleoOMG.com is where you can find her, but on IG as well. IG Whole30 recipes. Then there is one chick who her Instagram account is really good. It's called Real Foodology. I really like her stuff. Against All Grain is a great IG account. And then the newest addition to our group is a woman who is actually kind of a local celebrity. Her IG account is pretty large for her only starting it a few years ago, but she has a PhD in nutrition. I just added her to our beta test group kind of as an expert advisor, if you will. But I met with her this week actually and realized like we are definitely like-minded in our beliefs when it comes to nutrition. And she's got a lot of great informational posts and ideas. So her name's Dr. Layla Sadeh. So it's DRLAYLASADE. And she's got a great IG account. That's mostly where she's at. And she's going to be in the group, which I'm super excited about. So
yeah, that's awesome.
So if you're one of those that you've decided, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make this holiday season different than all of the other ones. And I'm not going to miss out on holiday food, but I'm not going to go ham.
Yeah.
Then start planning now. Start getting yourself ready. Find a partner or a group of like-minded people, and go into this season with a plan. And there's plenty of these IG accounts and even more that literally give you tools to make your entire Christmas meal healthy so that you don't feel like crap after you eat, because, food, this is one thing that we're doing in the group is I'm asking everyone to record in their journal, not just data, but how they feel, because I think a lot of people don't realize that, achy joints, feelings of depression, feelings of lethargy, brain fog, joint pain, like all of these things are related to the foods that we eat and the toxins that we put in and on our body.
Yeah.
And so, I'm excited to see the changes and hear feedback from people that choose option B or option C. But if you're a person that you're like, nope, Lauren and Cinthanie, I know myself, I'm going to go ham, and I will call you first thing January. Girl, well, it's all good. We're here to help.
You know where to find us.
Yep. we are here to help every single type, but we want to empower you guys to make you realize that the holidays don't have to be like every other holiday season, and you don't have to miss out on good food. Mm-hmm. In fact, we want you to experience good food, but we want you to also feel good and be your best, healthiest self. So, so we'll end this on our ending message that I think is it's always important, but especially now.
You are a good person and you deserve good things to happen to you.
Exactly. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to the Fitz and Healthy podcast, subscribing, leaving reviews. We appreciate you, and we hope that you all have a beautiful, safe, healthy holiday. Ciao. Make sure that you find us on social media. You can find Cinthanie on Instagram and Facebook at Cinthanie. So that's CINTHANIE, and on Snapchat at Cinthanie P. And find me on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at Club Fitz Fitness. Remember, that's FITZ Fitness. And on Snapchat, just at Club Fitz. I appreciate your time listening so much. If you enjoyed this episode of the Fitz and Healthy podcast, can you please go do me a favor and go subscribe whatever platform that it is that you listen to podcasts. Leave a review. We read every single review, and we appreciate the time that you take to leave your thoughts and opinions. Now, also remember, while I am a medical doctor, the information I provide here is not intended to provide medical advice or a professional diagnosis, opinion, treatment, or services to you or to any other individual. I am providing general information for educational and informational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for medical or professional care. You should not use this information in place of a visit, call, consultation, or the advice of your physician or other healthcare provider. The information I share is not intended to treat, cure, or diagnose any disease or medical condition. If you believe you have a medical emergency, just call 911 immediately or your physician. Now, enough of that medical legal jargon. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I appreciate your time. Now, go live a Fitz and Healthy life.